Government testing on innocent lives. Asbestos-filled trailers in case they survive. If this is what you do know, there's plenty to hide. Disease and disaster can be contrived. Nothing is an accident, I won't tell no lie. Oh, I'll tell you no lie. Oh, I'll tell you no lie. Say, we're all guinea pigs and don't know why. There's something in the water and it's called fluoride. It's the first ingredient in the atom bomb. It was used in Nazi Germany to keep the Jews calm. Oh, I'll tell you no lie. Give me a mic and I'll testify. Can you tell me where we're gonna wake up? I hope it's before we self-destruct. From the vaccines and the codeine, you know we're all dope fiends, and the only prescription that we need is love. Oh, I'll tell you no lie. I'm just telling you what I know. I'm just telling you what I know, for sure.
Beer, bacon, and cheeseburgers. That's right, we're deep frying bacon cheeseburgers and beer batter. And you know what else? We're swigging beers while we cook. Because behind all these shenanigans, the thought of life itself is so meaningless we can't help but drown our sorrows in some alcohol. Basically what I'm saying is we don't give a about anything. So if you don't give a like we don't give a then fill your oven up with bacon, obviously. We got enough animal style spread to make our own animal style bacon garlic spread, which we're gonna put to good use for our fried meat gouda. Fried meat gouda.
In the 1970s, the top 5 beef packers controlled only about 25% of the market. Today, the top 4 control more than 80% of the market. You see the same thing happening now in pork. Even if you don't eat at a fast food restaurant, you're now eating meat that's being produced by this system.
Wathinda thina wathinda bangasoku When you have only $1 to spend and you have 2 kids to feed, either you go to the market and try to find something that's cheap, or just go straight through a drive-through and get 2 small hamburgers for them and, okay, here, eat them. This is what's going to fill her up, not that one single item at the market.
Look at the broccoli. It's too expensive, man.
What did you want to eat then? First, check to see how many are there for a pound.
Okay.
That we're done. We're not. You'd only get like 2 or 3. You can find candy that's cheaper. You can find chips that are cheaper. The sodas are really cheap. Sometimes you look at a vegetable and say, okay, well, we can get 2 hamburgers over here for the same amount of price.
Why is it that you can buy a double cheeseburger at McDonald's for 99 cents and you can't even get a head of broccoli for 99 cents? We've skewed our food system to the bad calories, and it's not an accident. I mean, the reason that those calories are cheaper is because those are the ones we're heavily subsidizing.
So that's incredible.
Right.
So
So
they can't afford.
right. So
broccoli.
the choice is being basically imposed by price.
Well, we are subsidizing food that's making us sick.
Today in the United States, nearly 2/3 of the population is overweight. Almost 1 in 3 Americans is obese. And no one wants to be. Americans want to be thinner, and yet old and young Americans are getting fatter and fatter and fatter. We all think it's our own fault. It is not that simple. The food industry is also at fault.
We're besieged. Wherever we go, we're encouraged to eat junk food.
And the government is at fault.
We have government policies that promote overeating from the beginning to the end of the food chain.
Tonight, we will tell you how the government and the food industry have helped to make America fat. The Bush administration's man in charge of public health is Health and Human Services Secretary Tommy Thompson.
Do you see any connection between the federal government's agricultural subsidy programs and nutrition? There's no question that if you have money out there and subsidizing particular things, that product is going to be grown more. And some of those products are not good for nutrition. If that's what you're asking me, yes.
This is the food pyramid, the government's guide to good nutrition, what we should be eating. Less of what is on top, sugars, fats, and then meats and dairy, and more of what's on the bottom, grains and fresh fruits and vegetables.
Of the total amount of money that supports American agriculture, how much of that money goes towards fruits and vegetables, both production and promotion?
You'd have to look at the percentage as less than 1%, minimal product.
We wanted to see what the food pyramid would look like if it reflected where the government farm subsidies actually end up. Look at this. Since 1995, meat and dairy got about 3 times the subsidies of grains. According to data from the Department of Agriculture and the Environmental Working Group, sugars, fats, the foods government says we should eat least got about 20 times more subsidies than fruits and vegetables.
There's a disconnect between agriculture policy and health policy. That's probably the biggest problem that the federal government faces. We don't look at how agricultural policy can help improve public health. It's strictly about subsidies.
And does government know this?
Government knows it. I'm not sure government at the moment knows what to do about it. How do you undo government policy that has not been focused on health and nutrition, but has been focused on subsidizing farmers?
This could be the first generation of children in the United States that lives less than its parents.
I got 2 pills I take for my
diabetes, then I got 1 for cholesterol, high blood pressure, and then I take Byetta, which is an injectable.
I'm getting really shaky and I'm sick and I'm fatigued, and that's when they diagnosed me with hypertension and diabetes.
Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure cost this country more than $120 billion each year.
People are saying, you're crazy. You're a cancer patient. You should be resting. Doctors told me this. When I had the second heart attack, the doctor said I should prepare for death.
Heart disease is an absolutely toothless paper tiger that need never, ever exist.
People who were raised in Japan, the Philippines, Korea, China, never had heart disease, prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis.
This is the atlas of cancer mortality in China.
Virtually, the Western diet was non-existent. They had no animal products. They had no dairy, no meat.
We learned that we could turn on and turn off cancer growth just by adjusting the level of intake of that protein.
I knew at that point what caused most diseases.
Our national authorities are simply excluding this concept in order to protect the status quo.
With the Western diet, there are going to be 500,000 people in this country this year who will have to have the front half of their body divided, their heart exposed. Some people would call that extreme.
I know of nothing else in medicine that can come close to what a plant-based diet can do.
If you go through life thinking that what happens to you from a health perspective is based on your genes, you're a helpless victim.
I've reversed the diabetes. The diabetes is not coming back.
I just can't understand what it's done to change my life.
Diet is so much more important than anybody ever thought.
To me, the answer is so simple, it's criminal. And it's just people starting to take responsibility for their health and starting to eat more plant-based foods. It's that simple.
The doctor is not allowed to try anything else. He must use only those treatments that have already proven to be failures. Imagine what we could do if this could be accepted. But there are laws against it. You're not allowed to heal. There's too much money to be made on drugs.
No, I don't think there's any evidence that anybody's ever been cured by Gerson therapy.
Well, has the Gerson therapy ever cured a cancer patient?
Oh, of course not.
I've never interviewed any Gerson patients. It really is pointless.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor? More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. See how Camels agree with your throat.
It is very important for the Orthodox people to keep patients from coming to alternative treatments because they work. People have been so brainwashed for so long.
The reason that the food manufacturers are telling the public that it's safe is because they're making a huge profit off of it.
You have Monsanto, DuPont, Bayer, Syngenta, and Dow. Those are the big 5 companies behind genetically engineered foods, and they all share one thing in common. They're not agricultural companies, they're chemical companies.
this is African Holistic Health. When food is love. I just got this from the library. Exploring the relationship between eating and intimacy. What a lot of us are doing at this point in time is using food to medicate other emotional issues such as anxiety, anger, lack of love, etc. And he's putting me onto a couple of new joints that I'm going to need to just confiscate from you before you leave. Your Body Never Lies, the complete book of Oriental diagnosis, because you study Chinese medicine as well, right?
Correct, and that actually covers something called physiognomy, which is reading the body, reading the bodily patterns to determine locations and depth of disease of the organs of the body.
Okay, cool. The Subtle Body, an Encyclopedia of Your Energetic Anatomy by Cindy Dale. And lastly, the Book of the Chakras, Discovering the Hidden Forces Within You.